I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the pre-season video for Season 3, the final season of F1 24 Driver Career Mode. However, yes, ladies and gentlemen, McLaren don't want me. So, where do I go from here? There aren't too many options available because, of course, this is being F1 24. I do hope that there are a few more options available on F1 25's driver career mode. I don't mind having certain teams not being able to sign me, but I think that it's a little bit too much, especially the fact we are still technically a McLaren junior driver as well, and how poorly they were. So there's really only two options out the floor, because two of them we've already driven for, being Racing Bull / RB, and also Williams. So that leaves Mercedes and Ferrari, and realistically it's actually only Ferrari, because with Mercedes I actually got something different for planned for the one F1 25. It's the road for Mercedes is actually on F1 25. It's sort of the last road to, really, because if we may not even get an F1 26 or something as well. Ferrari then. So yes, drove them of course in last year's career mode, and this would be a nice fitting for Ferrari, because of course it means I can rename this career mode the Italian Job. Yes, I know technically we've been in Williams in season 1, but 2 Italian teams, I mean, what can more? The other reason also for not being at Mercedes is because we'd probably end up replacing George Russell, and I don't think that's technically fair to Russell as well. I know our recognition's going to go down. I know we've got currently 59% recognition over Tsunoda, but yeah, it's slightly less against Leclerc than Hamilton for some reason as well. The problem is, though, that would mean against Russell moving out, probably to Racing Bulls, which I don't think is fair. He would runner up in the championship, gave Verstappen, I don't say a very good run for his money, because Verstappen just walked the championship as he normally does. But nevertheless, I think Ferrari, with Leclerc, Sainz has not been doing very well. Ferrari are looking for a change. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to complete the Italian Job. So here's the calendar for Season 3. 2 changes from Season 2. I think there's 2 changes. Yes, so obviously we're racing at Bahrain, interestingly, as well. And the other one that comes in is Zandvoort. Since the last one, really, Zandvoort has, of course, will be dropping off the calendar after 2026 as well. So yes, so of course the other thing that's going to be affecting this use is R&D. I'm going to use the high inflation scenario to try and introduce a little bit of realism. Obviously this is 2026 in this career mode, and we've not really had a big regulation change. All the regulation changes have been very minor. There has been one regulation change, I think, on the aero side, but other than that it's pretty minor. So yeah, here we are. There's our new Ferrari overalls for Season 3. My rating as well, still 83 rated. I doubt we'll get to 99. As well, Racecraft could get to 99 potentially if we start winning, but haven't yet won a race. And you know, if we fail to win this career mode, that would be the first times in a very long time to do so. Now R&D is going to get more and more expensive. It should close the field in and make it more competitive, although saying that, it's also going to try and maybe not do that if you've got more upgrades to do, and keep it steady as well. Aero needs a bit of work. We're sort of middle of the pack behind Alpine as well, but a few minor upgrades. But look at that, 1630 resource points for a minor brakes upgrade as well. These are expensive upgrade. So actually we look very good, second behind only Mercedes. We've only got a few ultimates there that are available. The other one being major engine power. We need a lot of engine. We got the second worst engine on the grid, only apparently Audi. Time for the reveal. Yes, these liveries have taken a long time to do. F125 not getting in the way, not helping here. But the Ferrari, yes, me and Leclerc will be trying to go for the championship. I will show the R&D graph at the end of the video. But I think of all the Ferraris that I've ever made, this is definitely one of the better ones. Obviously, no shell, but we still got HP in the rightful colours, not in that horrible blue, and we've got the Ferrari horse on the car. I mean, who can ask for that? There's plenty enough sponsors. It's Ferrari, for goodness sake. Of course, there will be a little bit of work to do with the car. I mean, this car, you know, we were 5th fastest last year, Ferrari. So, yes, they've not been even close to actually getting a win. We'll try and resonate Leclerc, who's had a lot more success through season 2 and season 1 than Sainz, who's obviously ultimately his poor racing has cost him his seat at Ferrari. But of course, we do have a lot of competitors to overcome if I'm going to try and win this 2026 championship. And obviously McLaren could get in the way too. Now, big things for McLaren. They've decided to keep Piastri and Perez as their 2 drivers. Cadillac, though, are their new engine supplier. Yes, in this career mode and storyline, Cadillac, having failed to get on the grid with Andretti, just approached McLaren as being their engine supplier for 2026 and beyond as well. They've got the chrome and papier livery as well, which is sort of the final in the 3 trio of liveries. It's possible with the it's possible with the paint farm on the McLaren Sashi. Obviously, one big news for them is Hilton has gone as a sponsor, but Cadillac more than make up for that. They've got, just like Ferrari, they've got more than enough sponsors. Obviously, potentially Cadillac wanted a driver from North America or Central America or South America to join the team, and obviously Perez, being still at that team as well, obviously gave them the biggest marketing ploy that Cadillac need to draw in the American, Mexican, Canadian even audience, even though we're actually not racing in Mexico as well. And but obviously Las Vegas paying a lot of money for the finale. There will probably be a lot of Cadillac promotion with Perez in the run-up to that event. Red Bull will also be dangerous. Obviously, Max Verstappen in this career mode is a 5-time world champion. They also have Lando Norris, so one of the strongest driver pairings on the grid, although he wasn't very good in Season 2. He'll be looking to be a lot closer to Verstappen in Season 3, but obviously they've got the 4 powertrain to contend with. You know, who knows how fast that Ford engine is going to be, the Ford Red Bull engine. And, you know, we're going to be asking the same questions next year in real life as too for the Ford engine. So for them, you know, their task is simple: win both championships. They've also pinched Hilton from McLaren just to show that, you know, they've got enough pulling power. They've got so many big sponsors there that are paying such a lot of money. They are raking in at this moment in time in terms of money and sponsor. They've also got a special Ford livery as well, so you notice the Ford blue and white around the Red Bull as well. This is a bog standard Ford Red Bull livery. doubt we'll see this in real life. I'm expecting to see the same livery in 2026 that we've seen for the past 16 years, but well, not 16 years, since 2022 really, on the Red Bull. Who knows, a different Sashi might be doing a different livery in real life, but in here it's a nice change. Now, Red Bull didn't want to completely lose their identity with the their colours, which is why they've also brought back Toro Rosso, the iconic name that they should have brought back for this year. They have done in this on this year's game. This, in case you didn't know, it's the Toro Rosso paint file from my Fantasy Liveries series as well. Obviously, they've made up for the sponsors. They actually got bigger sponsors, and this is also the team where we find Carlos Sainz. Yes, Sainz is moved to Toro Rosso. It's a straight swap between myself and Carlos, and to be honest, that's very disappointing. But that is to be expected from an F1 game that has terrible driver transfers, and I do hope that they have fixed them for F1 25. Otherwise, career modes are going to be boring. Red Bull's main sponsors have also made up for the ones that I have taken away from them, because I did bring quite a bit of sponsors which have moved to Ferrari for season 3. And Aston Martin can also be a threat. Obviously, Alonso, he's been very good in this career mode so far, if I remember. Stroll has been a bit yo-yo as well, but obviously they now have the Honda engine as well. Obviously, this game doesn't have aero personnel designers behind designing the cars, but if it did, then obviously we'd have Adrian Newey at Aston Martin, who, again, another question of how this team's going to perform in 12 months time. But obviously that prospect of having that Newey Honda Aston Martin victory has brought in a lot of sponsors. Santander remain a big sponsor. They brought in Marriott as well. Telefonica are reunited with Alonso. I think they sponsored him when he was at Minardi all those years ago. So yes, it's been a long time, a bit of a reunion since 2001 as well. Obviously, Honda not getting too much in the way. It doesn't over the white on the red of the Honda logo on the rear wing. I think complements the car. It shows the Honda presence, but it doesn't then overpower the proper British racing green and neon yellow stripe that is pretty much the bog standard Aston Martin career mode livery colours in my career modes. Mercedes will also be a big challenge. George Russell, of course, was runner-up in Season 2, and they have a new title sponsor, BWT, which means, ladies and gentlemen, here's the pink Mercedes. Yes, obviously those jokes from 2020 about Racing Point copying the Mercedes car. Obviously, yes, we'll see what we can do, but this, I did have to change. I changed the pink paint slightly because it was too bright for me, personally speaking. So I thought, let's add a different type of paint to the car. So I think it looks a bit better. It doesn't then overpower the car. You know, it's a black and pink car, and I think it actually looks very good. As well, obviously Alpine have been teasing us with some testing black and pink cars too, as well. But obviously, despite having BWT, they have lost a few other sponsors too, as well. CrowdStrike have reduced their numbers as well, so it's not been plain sailing for them. We'll have to wait and see how they perform over the winter, whether or not they're still able to challenge come the start of the season. Next up, it's a warm welcome back to Renault, to Formula 1. Yes, Alpine have gone. This is what we want to see. Renault back in Formula 1. The banana car is back. Yellow as well. I mean, let's be honest, we all want Renault to be back. And it's a Renault engine for these new engine regulations that technically haven't happened, but we'll gloss over that. I mean, let's be honest. There's not a lot I can do with the Renault livery I mean, there is a lot of carbon fibre. I basically coloured what I could in yellow. Everything else on this car is carbon fibre basically as well. Obviously, one of the big things for them is obviously they still got Ocon and Gasly, so French car, French engine, French team. Renault bosses decided, let's have a huge marketing push, especially about being the most lucrative season in Formula 1 history, as well, as you can already tell by the numerous amount of sponsor changes to as well. And obviously a lot of spots, and unlike at Mercedes, a lot of Renault sponsors are actually paying more money than they have. Now, Audi is where we find the only other driver transfer there. Yes, that's right. There were 3 driver transfers. Pathetic. Yes, Audi have got rid of Valtteri Bottas and replaced him with Ollie Behrman. So, a quarter of this grid is from the UK. Which we could see this happen in real life next year with Arvid Lindblad getting potentially promoted to RB Racing Bulls Toro Rosso, whatever they're going to call themselves. Yes, they've pinched Mobile One as well from Red Bull as a main sponsor. So to replace sort of Castrol, Mobile One paying a bit more money for them too. They've also got the likes of Condor, Five Guys, and other brands on the car too. Yes, I've gone for this. There's not a lot I can do, to be honest, with the Slauber paint file, but I've gone for grey of a bit more to sort of try and distinguish it with some of the other cars and make grey the dominant colour. Audi is known for having grey as a colour along with red and black, and I think that it actually looks quite good. Their livery suits, what I've done with them is actually a lot better, which you may have seen in the cutscene earlier. If not, they will be in the driver grids when we get to Bahrain. Next up, it's another warm welcome back to Formula 1 for Alfa Romeo. Yes, Alfa Romeo have partnered with Haas purely because they want to form, obviously, Ferrari. Ferrari have lost Sauber to Audi as well. They don't want to lose Haas too. So obviously they've paid for a lot of money to title sponsor, no less, Haas. And obviously in the future, to bring future seasons, especially the fact that they lost Ollie Behrman to Audi, he chose to move to Audi over a potential seat at Haas, thinking that that was the better way forward for him. They don't want to lose future talents by not having a junior team to place them at. In terms of this career mode, they will still have Magnussen and Hulkenberg, but now they've got that Ferrari link. Deeper ties as well. They've also brought Delta on long board too, as well as some other sponsors paying the big bucks to Gene to keep this team afloat. Can they actually be the menace that they are in my manager career mode and get consistent point? We'll have to wait and see about that. And finally, Williams. And those of you who keep asking me about the white Williams livery from F1 2022 or 23, yes, this is not as good as the original, I don't think, but nevertheless it's not bad. It's not a bad look. It's much better than what they've managed to come up in real life for 2025, and they've pinched Shell from Ferrari after Shell have been partnered with Ferrari I think for 20-30 years now at least. So to pinch a huge big sponsor as well, they've still kept as well Porsche and Albon, but they obviously think there is some promise there. They've also got American Express on board. They still got Mercedes power, so have not been able to find their own their own engine supplier, unlike McLaren. But American Express is a title sponsor, as well as many other sponsors like Spotify, Virgin Atlantic, coming on board and really helping out. There's a huge amount of money to invest in this team, obviously cost cap permitting. So yes, that is all 10 liveries for this season 3. Now, let me know which is your favourite in the comments below. By the way, R&D chart. We're behind Toro Rosso. We do have the option to remove the high inflation R&D scenario should it become too difficult for me to sort of move this team forwards. It can become a bit boring. I know this career mode we're not in that career mode state yet where everyone just basically stagnates because they haven't got enough acclaim, or whether it is, I can't remember what they've called it because it's been so long. The other thing obviously is that you will know that F125 is coming out in just under 2 months time, and I've got 16 episodes to record. So to try and help me, the races will be reduced for this season 3 to 25%. As well, we're going old school from my F1 2020 days, and up to 2022, where I used to do 25% races. Yes, this should help me in the recordings. It does mean that Belgium will only have 11 laps. The maximum will only be 20 laps. But to be fair, the racing on F124, I said I was going to have a look at some mods. I have not. For that, I haven't had time to go and test them. I know that's a bit poor. I know that's poor planning on me. And yes, it sort of slipped my mind that F125 would be coming out as I was making this. As well, I obviously thought I had more time, and I don't. So there's going to be a lot of episodes. Expect some different upload times, especially on Saturdays, with game news probably coming out on Wednesday. Probably next Wednesday we're going to see a bit more game news. We've obviously, to help me, we've also got a few bank holidays between here and the launch date. So that should help me try and get a few more episodes out to you guys. So if you are looking forward to seeing this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification button on. This season it's going to be an uphill battle. We're 6th fastest. Can we turn it around and win the championship? Yes, we might be 6th fastest, and yes, we're behind Toro Rosso, but there's not too. There's a very small gap. 100 performance points, whether that unit of measurement is on the graph. Nobody actually knows. Not even I doubt Codemasters really actually know what unit of measure that is in. But the fact it's so close doesn't mean it's the end of the world where we are, and we can push on. Hopefully with a few more R&D upgrades. But yes, that's where I'm going to leave it today's video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.